This is the main thing. There's 3 points I'm going to share with you that almost everybody has missed and figure out where the heck Ripple's coming from. Okay. But they failed because the IMF only gave the SDR to all the central banks or majority of central banks or whatever.
Right.
They didn't give it to commercial banks, fintechs, companies, corporations, and retailers to help build many use cases for it and get that liquidity that you need to serve as a global reserve asset or a supplementary reserve asset. So the SDR failed. Okay, very important to remember this. Now, so they failed it didn't get that global adoption is what I mean. I'm not saying the SDR doesn't exist, but it didn't get that global adoption and it didn't get the liquidity required for the central banks to hold it instead of holding US dollars. So the central banks kept kind of going with the US dollar because it was more liquid, more accessible, so on and so forth. So 1988 is when we see the article on the Economist magazine, The Rising Phoenix, get ready for a new world currency. Okay, everybody talks about the front page, that rising phoenix, that new world currency that rises from the ashes of the fiat system, but nobody ever talks about what the article actually said. And again, this is another crucial piece of the missing puzzle for Ripple. So the article argued that there was new technologies on the horizon, and these new technologies would allow them to create a new world currency that would help with global trade, liquidity, and FX. What does Ripple do? It helps with FX, liquidity, and global trade. So the article argued that there's new technologies and that would help with those 3 things, and that this new world currency would come on the scene about within 30 years from then, which is 2018, which is when we see RippleNet starting to gain adoption. To learn more, join me for free today at apexcryptocommunity.com.